We're standing here in the Grand Avenue Community Kitchen on the first floor of Grand Avenue Community Outreach in Spencer, historic downtown Spencer. This space used to be inhabited by a catering company here in town, and it's funny how this all came together because the catering company had made the decision to no longer be in the restaurant business. They'd been providing food to our coffee shop guests for quite some time, and wanted to focus more on catering and the food trucks and the things that they do really well. And so the decision was made to vacate this space here, and within about 24 hours of that, this is really strange how this all came together, but we received an email via our website from Kim here, who is the director of Grand Avenue Community Kitchen, and she had talked about over the course of the last few years kind of preying on whether or not there was a need for a community kitchen in town, community meals, those kinds of things. And it's just a really neat story of how it all came together, but the timing couldn't have been better because we just had emptied out this kitchen and she had mentioned something about bringing community meals into this building, and so we have the perfect space for that with the dining room that overlooks Grand Avenue and then this commercial kitchen right here. It's perfect for a soup kitchen for community meals. So from there we had Kim come in and meet with our board and some of our other volunteers that do some things with food outreach here in the building, and through those conversations, we started asking people individually as they were coming in for help on every other Thursday for the food pantry, if there would be a benefit to them if we had hot meals prepared for them here a few nights a week. And as we dug into that process, we looked at some statistics and found that in Clay County, 18.5% of the children and 9.1% of the elderly are in some sort of they're in poverty and some sort of food insecurity. And so looking at those numbers, it's kind of alarming because it's actually higher than the state average, which is at 15.3 and 7.5 respectively. And so that tells us right there is a need for this kind of thing. And the thing that we've always been about at Grand Avenue Community Outreach is we're not going to do something just to do something. We're going to do something when there's a need for it. And there's definitely a need for community meals. And so we decided let's just kind of do a little bit of a needs analysis here and see what we need to offer for meals, what kinds of food. We want to make sure it's nutritional, healthy meals, hot meals, and we want to do it a few nights a week. And so we thought, let's open it up Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 5:30 to 7, see what the need is at that point, and from there we can either pare it down or we can grow upon that. It just kind of depends on who's coming in, how often they're coming in. The biggest thing with it is it's not limited to elderly that are dealing with social isolation or children that aren't sure where their next meal is going to come from. Those are the two most important things about the kitchen, but that's not the only people that can come here. This is open to the entire community, and so we want everyone to come in and fellowship together. The timing again is impeccable on this. Around the same time that we started really digging into this Grand Avenue Community Kitchen project, there's a group of folks around the community that have been reading this book called Love Where You Live, and that was spearheaded by our city manager, Amanda Mack. And a big thing that's been coming out of those discussions after reading that book is how people come together when there's food involved. And so we talked a lot about little neighborhood block parties of having get-togethers and food and drink and all that fun stuff. And so we thought, you know what? Let's get right on that train and do it right here on a grand scale overlooking Grand Avenue. And so we want to open it up to everybody in the community, no matter what neighborhood you live in. Even if you don't live in Spencer or Clay County, this place is always here for anybody that needs it in Northwest Iowa. So that's who we're hoping to catch here with our soup kitchen, with our community meals, is really just anybody that wants to come in and fellowship with other members of the community.
We are looking for volunteers. Of course, we need people to serve. We also need people to cook. We'll be open 3 days a week, so there'll be a lot of prep and planning as far as that all goes, so people to help with that. We need financial help because there are some things that we need. We need a serving cart, a warming cart for the food. We would love to have another oven eventually, and just other items that would help it run more smoothly. But yeah, definitely volunteers and financial things. If you have things at your home that maybe you could donate, large pots or utensils or silverware, all sorts of things. So yeah, just let us know how you want to fit in with all that.
So the best way to get a hold of us would be, there's a form on our website you can fill out, the Contact Us section. That emails directly to me. The other thing would be just to call the Grand Avenue Community Outreach, 580-4732, and leave a message on the voicemail. Let us know what it is that you're looking to volunteer with, whether it's the soup kitchen, the food pantry, the clothing outreach, any services that are available here. We're always looking for volunteers. The biggest thing right now is right here in this kitchen, though. And if there's any kind of donations that you want to drop off, we always have our main lobby open during normal business hours. You can come in and drop off anything right there next to the lobby desk. There's a bin for clothing, but then on top of that, if there's any food that you wanted to drop off. The great thing about the food that's going to be provided here in the kitchen, we've been partnered with the Food Bank of Iowa for quite some time now. And they actually provide most of the food for either the food pantry or the soup kitchen here at very, very minimal cost. So, we still need financial contributions to do all the things that we do here. But the Food Bank of Iowa is not really a big expense for us, especially right now with some of the commodities that normally would go overseas. They're staying right here in Iowa and going back to places like the food bank, and then they distribute that to the satellite locations like us, and we get food for literally pennies on the dollar, and it's such a great deal, especially when you're trying to start up a new outreach such as a community kitchen. So big things coming up here is obviously the launch of this community kitchen, and that's going to happen on October 28th, so coming right up. And again, that's 5:30 in the evening, and we'll run till about 7, depending on how it goes that first night. If there's a lot of people here, we might have to stay a little longer, but that's okay. We just want to make sure everybody gets served.